Classic. There we go. That's better. All right. So, welcome. Three times, always. Um, at least three times. It is Sunday, October 12th, around 9:15ish Eastern Standard Time. We closed the shop a little early today. I closed up around 7:25, 7:30ish. The rain and wind have been pretty lousy all day. Really, it's very funny. Since Thursday, people have been saying, "Oh, careful of the nor'easter. Oh, there's a nor'easter coming. Watch out." And I'm like, "Look, people, it's autumn. Like, it's gonna rain." Like, I had a customer came in who goes, "Is everything gonna be okay here?" And I said, "With what?" And he goes, "With the rain." I was here earlier in like January and it flooded, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, thank God." My neighbor, the drum studio, put in new gutters. My landlord did a couple of things with the drainage in the back, and we really haven't had floods for a long time. We even had a couple of times that was real heavy, really fast rainfall that I was very worried, and we didn't have to deal with it. So that was great. Thank goodness. But what was interesting was even though we were rained out, quote unquote, even though it was the local fall festival was this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, it really wasn't that bad, Doc. The fall festival closed. It's supposed to be open tomorrow, but they closed today. They said they're not doing the fall festival today in case it gets really bad. So I had kind of been hoping that the fall festival would bring in a nice crowd. Remember this, last Sunday, we had our best day in 3 months and in the top like 4 days of the entire year last Sunday. So that was pretty impressive. This Sunday was not, you know. It was raining, it was windy, it was gross, no problem. But I had a holdless customer who's got, I don't know, he only comes every 2 or 3 months. So he came in and picked up his substantial hold list. I have a customer who doesn't get a lot. She lives locally, but she really gets very little. She comes in every 3 months. She only had like this much, but by the time she finished looking at new things that came out, she had a nice stack. Evan, who comes in basically every Sunday, Evan came and picked up a whole bunch of stuff. So it was basically a good day. But one of the things that I talked about on Thursday that I think is really I think is important to consider and talk about. Again, welcome to all you randos who've logged on here, but we're talking about comic books and the comic book market. If you're not interested, if you're not following things happening in the comic book world, a lot of what I'm going to say is just going to be pretty nonsensical. But we talked a bunch on Thursday about the Absolute books and the ICV2. Didn't we talk about this on Thursday? I think ICV2's numbers that they released at New York Comic Con, talking about the general growth, the massive growth in comics. And I'm sitting there making my orders for November, some books even for December. Right, I'm ordering books for a month and two, while it's a slow day. It's a day where random people might be walking, because, it's a comic shop, let's see. Good chunk of people who walked in and looked around bought really random. They bought some of our Marvel cards that we have in the back, or they bought random issues, or they bought used manga. I had a group of 4, I'd say late teens, 20-somethings come in. They looked around for probably 20 minutes, looked at all sorts of webtoons, discussed all sorts of things. Well, if you're staying and you're interested in comics, definitely make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, Doc. I always forget to whore myself out properly on these things. One of them bought something. I think it was 5, and the one who bought something bought Amulet Volume 9. And I said, "Oh yeah, it took like 5 years till this was finished. There's people who read it when they were 11, and they're like coming in and getting it, and they're like, 'Oh my God, I finished it! Finally finished!' And the person was like, 'Huh, that's me.' That's great. That's a reader. That's someone who read Amulet, always has wanted to get to the ending, and I think that's great. But the big problem, and I heard so many people talking about this. Oh, those are the Absolute books. Oh yeah, he's all jacked, he's huge, it's totally different. Oh, that's Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, he's married. They know about these things. They've heard about these things, but they're not necessarily interested in randomly picking up these books. I had a few people look at. I had a guy. My last customer of the day bought Don Volume 1 and Shangri-La Frontier Volume 1. And I said, "Oh, are you watching Shangri-La Frontier?" And they said, "No." I think I've heard about it. Is it good? I said, "It's good. The manga's better, as always." And I explained the manga's got deeper world building and all that stuff. And then I sort of talked them into buying the first Lone Wolf and Cub after they talked about how much they love Berserk. So it was a very nice sale. That's the sort of customer we want, because they already kind of knew, oh, if I see Don, I want to grab Volume 1. Oh, I want to grab a good action thing. This looks like fun action. Great. But so many people are coming in, and they're just like, what is there? What is all this? How do I got a phone call. This is what the story that this all hinges on. I got a phone call. Hello, yes, I'm just calling to ask. It's pretty funny. That's my Sunday night alarm to check if I did a live stream or not. So we beat it. I'm looking for the Absolute comics. Do you have any? Oh, well, we stock Absolute comics. Do you have a specific one you're looking for? And they're like, well, the Absolute books. I don't care which ones. And I'm like, well, Absolute is a line. There's a whole bunch of different titles. The person goes, oh, I don't care. Marvel, DC, as long as it's Absolute. So I go, well, Absolute is DC. Marvel makes a line called Ultimate that's kind of similar. It's its own universe. So I just need the Absolute ones. I'm like, okay, well, we have them. I don't know which ones you're looking for, as long as you have some. And she came in, and she was buying them for a gift. And she was just looking for, she goes, the only one I know, she takes out her phone. I'm on my phone. She takes out her phone, and she goes, the only one is this one. And it's a picture of Absolute Batman #1 without the logo, without anything. So she didn't know she was looking for Absolute Batman #1, just an Absolute, and it has this cover. I said, okay, well, we have Absolute Batman in the Batman Day reprint that's pretty cheap. And then she was looking at Wonder Woman #1, talking about other numbers. I said, oh, we also have like the triptych, the Mark Spears. They go together, they make a beautiful picture. She goes, oh, that's great, it's a gift, yes, perfect. She's looking for a gift, and she's looking for the Absolute comics, but she has no idea what she's looking for. She was very happy. She left with those three: Martian Manhunter #1, Flash #1. I think she got Absolute Evil and Batman 13. Absolute Batman 13. She was very happy. She thinks it'll be a great gift. She even bought for someone else the Absolute Wonder Woman with a different cover because she thought it was so great. And that's what they're talking about. And they talk about this big boom and, all people are reading books and people are buying single issues. Yeah, they are. There's people coming and they want to get their friends gifted, and their friends to them, I really want the Absolute comics. But, I had customers in today where one guy was talking about Absolute Batman and going, I only read the trades. I don't buy the single issues. I'm not interested. I just want to, and I said, yeah, man, I'm right there with you. That's a great way to get stuff. And he was just sort of desperately looking for something to read. He goes, I've read this Batman. I've heard that Batman's good. I want to try this Batman. But you don't have this one. You don't have that one. I said, well, I have some. So he ended up getting the DC Compact, which again, we can go on and on about how great those $10 DC Compacts are. They're manga size. He got the Court of the Owls one. That's 14 or 12 issues. It's a big chunker for $10. Great stuff. But he really only knows, and we've talked about it, he really only knows what he sees on lists and Reddit and YouTubes of what's good Batman. And I'm like, see, that's the thing. Sorry, I'm still getting over this cold. Good Batman happens in a random single issue. It happens in a run by a writer you like. There's so much good Batman, but people are going and they only want the trade paperback. That's fine. You can just get the trade paperbacks. But you're not going to get the 14 trade paperbacks that make up Scott Snyder's entire New 52 run. He was talking about Grant Morrison. He said the Grant Morrison one I heard is good. He said, but there's omnibus. I'm like, there's 2 omnibuy and there's a 3rd coming out. There's a lot of stuff. And he goes, oh, wow. So I said what I always said. I said, look, you can go in the back, you can get lots of great dollar comics, but if you just want to read a lot of good Batman, get the DC Universe app. The DC Universe app. He said, digital. I said, yeah, digital's not the same as holding a book in your hand, as reading it. Absolutely not. But you just want to read a bunch of Batman. You don't necessarily want to own tons of Batman. You don't need all the Batman in the world. You just want to try it out. So go digital. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's a huge thing, and I talked about this on Thursday, and I think it's something that's really being ignored in all this talk about how good comics are. I saw somebody talk about that they met Gail Simone. That's who it was. Gail Simone talked about meeting New York Comic Con with 3 people from 5 of the major companies and how excited they are about how good sales are and how much people are interested. And it's like, Gail. Again, now, I have a whole weird thing with Gail. Gail and I go way back to when I was a kid, till I was like, I don't even think I was a teenager yet. She was a heavy poster on the old comic book resources forum that my brother was like, big poster on. He wasn't one of the top people, but he was on there a lot. So he and Gail had a whole ongoing relationship. They chatted all the time, they schmoozed, and then she became a writer and kind of, over time, a major writer. I imagine that if I ever met Gail or talked to her and said my last name, she'd remember my brother. Gail said that they're also excited. Yeah, they're excited, but did you see DC's announcements? DC announced Black Label, Vertigo. Now, they got rid of Vertigo to make Black Label. So Vertigo's coming back. They're doing great books. Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero O'Connell. Yes, please. Rick Veitch's Swamp Thing run that was cut out because it was too controversial. It's just hilarious considering where DC is now, but they're putting those 4 issues out. Michael Zulli art that's never been released. That's tremendous. But then, yesterday, excuse me, yesterday they announced in March, DC's doing Next Level. DC All In becomes DC Next Level. And DC Next Level is Deathstroke the Terminator, Firestorm. And it's a list of like 8 or 9 characters who haven't had books in a while. And then it was a list of creators. Not saying which creators are attached to which. You're trying to build hype for something that you're putting out in 5 months. You won't even tell us who's working on these books. But you think that people coming into the store to get Matt Fraction's Batman or Absolute Batman or Absolute Martian Manhunter should be pushed towards reading more ongoing in-continuity books? They announced, they didn't announce, they showed off Teenie Howard's Catwoman, which was already announced, and they announced more Absolute titles to come. This is not the way. Okay, we have a new readership that's coming in that's interested. Flooding the market with more ongoing series for them to read by great creators is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to par down the line. I'm not saying be Carmine Infantino. I'm not saying, we have to go back to DC in the 70s, and if a book doesn't hit a certain number, canceled after 4 issues. No. What I'm saying is, look at what you have going right now. What's going on right now, cut half the line. Whatever half the line is, and let's get 5 months to see how that does. If you cut the lines in half and you just have the best-selling books out there, I'm willing to believe that those best-selling books are going to sell even better. And if you slowly put out quality books, you can get more readers on them. But no, these companies just will not learn their lesson. Again, I'm very surprised that Marvel didn't make a big Ultimate announcement about Ultimate Season 2 after Endgame ends, but considering this Endgame miniseries starts November and it's 4 issues, it's November, December, January, February, they have no reason to. One World Under Doom has its penultimate issue this week, and then it has its final issue in November. And they've already announced Chip Zdarsky doing something. They can't explain what until the comic ends, but something with Dr. Doom after that. Sure, great, Dr. Doom's getting a movie, so go ahead and give him stuff, but don't break it off into a bunch of more lines. One of the things that I put an order on that I was most excited for today is Ryan North doing a book they did in Marvel about less than a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, Marvel All-in-One, where Ben Grimm came to Earth and he ends up fighting every single Marvel superhero. It's a great little, Ryan North wrote it, Ed McGuinness did the art. Same thing, Ryan North is writing a Hulk comic called Hulk Smash, where Hulk fights everybody. Also, single page. Terrific, tremendous. That's what we need. We need one-shots. We need a book that I can sell 20 years from now and it's the same book. That's where the market is. Deadpool Batman. You know how many Deadpool Batman I sold to? I had someone come in. He's looking for Exquisite Corpse 4 and 5. I want Exquisite Corpse. I'm reading it. I love it. I show it to him and I say, "Oh yeah, do you like Tinian?" Because he just got a 0 issue of Department of Truth. We've got Red Book. I showed a couple of other things. I said they're all fun. If you like the art of those, you like the art of these. Blah blah. He left with Deadpool Batman. Yeah, every page was a splash page, Doc. I think the Hulk one's going to be the same way. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me that while we have this growth and people are excited to read new single issues, that the companies are like, oop, let's crowd out more stuff into the market so people don't even know what to buy. Anyway, that was my thought today as I said I have a customer who comes in every 3 months. We used to be one of the 4 comic stores he went to. He had a comic store he's been going to for 40 years. He had a comic store he's been going to in the city for 30 years. And he had a comic store that he stopped in nearby. Dude, we're talking comic books. You think I have an opinion on footballers? And then he had a local store that he would go to just to pick up weekly stuff occasionally that he missed. 3 of those 4 stores shut down. So he comes in to me every couple months and gets a big stack, but he goes, I don't even know what to order anymore. I don't have a previews catalog. I go online and I see things, but they're not out yet. I don't know when they're out. They don't have release dates. What am I supposed to do? And I said, okay, God willing, by the end of the month, we'll have our new system. Our new system will have a catalog. It won't have everything in it, but it will be better. But he's like, yeah, but there's so much coming out, and it's like, how? And I said, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't. I gave him this man is a Superman expert. He has written articles about Superman for multiple. I am wearing a kippah, yes. He's Batman expert. There's a Batman miniseries, and he looked at it and he goes, what is this? I said, it's a retelling of Krypton, blah, blah. He goes, I don't think I want. I've never seen this guy turn down a Superman thing that was in continuity. And he just goes, I don't know what this is. That's where we're at. That's what's going. This guy gets the New York. I'm in New York. He gets the Ice Cream Man guys doing Superman. He gets Superman. He gets Action Comics. He doesn't get Supergirl. He gets Absolute Superman. He didn't want this one. He's like, I just don't know what it is. That's like that's where we're at. We're putting out, and now they're going to put out a new Deathstroke series, and they're going to put out a new Firestorm series. It's just absurd. I'm very worried. We're at the beginning of an economic recession. People are really worried about their money, and the company's response to, people are buying these titles. Let's make more titles. I don't know. All right, tomorrow is Indigenous People Day, also known as Columbus Day. In Canada, it's Thanksgiving, and we will be open from 12 to 4 p.m. It is Hoshana Rabbah for us, which is the end of Sukkot. And then we will be off. We'll be closed for Shmini Atzeret, which no one in the world knows what that is, and Simchat Torah, which a few people know thanks to Val Kilmer. We used to actually wear a sign when we were closed for Simchat Torah, but that's Simchat Torah. Anyway, we'll probably won't get to do a live stream tomorrow. God willing, we'll be back Thursday with all the new books and a live stream. Until then, remember, damn it, babies, you gotta be kind.